right, guys. So I want to just share a little bit of my story, and maybe it will help make some sense of why I do what I do and why I make so many posts about fitness and health and just always inviting people to be a part of the team that I'm building. And yeah, hopefully this will make a little bit more sense and you'll understand my heart behind it. Okay, so I had just gotten married to who I thought was the man of my dreams, and it was 2 months into our marriage, and my husband said he was going out for a little bit and he would be back soon, and he didn't come back that night. He didn't come back the next morning, and he never came back. And he ended up leaving for good. And those were the absolute worst days of my life. I had struggled with anxiety and depression since high school, and so I knew what that felt like. Um, I had struggled with suicidal thoughts my whole, like, since, I don't know, since I was 10 probably. So I was no stranger to these kinds of feelings, but this was by far the worst it ever got. Um, I, for 3 days after he left and called and informed me that he was gone, he was leaving, he didn't want to be married, um, I sat for 3 days and I didn't eat, I didn't drink, I didn't bathe. I sat on my phone and Googled for 3 days the fastest ways to commit suicide, the least painful ways, the cheapest ways, um, and I just sat in every negative thought and I was done. There was no purpose for me anymore. I had fought so hard my whole life to do things the right way, and it wound me up here. And why wasn't I lovable? And why did God let this happen? And I was so sick and so depressed, so dark. There was just so much darkness and death around me. And it was so bad. I remember I couldn't move for days. But I remember at one point I got up and I fumbled to the kitchen, and I remember grabbing a knife and holding it at my stomach. And I just wanted so badly to just do it then. And I just remember I couldn't see because my eyes were just filled with tears, and just did not understand how I had gotten here. Like, how did this happen? And later that week, I found out that I was pregnant. And in an instant, immediately, suicide was not an option. Giving up was not an option. Sitting in darkness in my dark thoughts was not an option. Losing the fight to depression and suicide and anxiety was no longer an option. This baby inside of me needed me to get it together and that I was going to pave the path for her story. So fast forward, after I had this baby, this perfect, amazing, sweet baby, who I named tender-hearted, sweet, and forgiving. That's what her name means. And I did that on purpose because I knew that this experience could have made me a very hard-hearted woman and just to be a grudge holder, and I did not want to speak any of that over her, and so I named her tender-hearted, sweet, forgiving baby girl. So that's what she is. But after I had her, I came across Beachbody, and I was wanting to get moving, get my endorphins going. I had played college sports, so I knew the effects of exercise on your mood, and I was depressed still, and it wasn't like the postpartum blues. I know I'm familiar with those, but that I knew myself and that wasn't what it was. So I knew I had to get moving again, and or else my daughter's story just might end up being that at a young age her mother had committed suicide, and I did not want that to be her story. And so I came across Beachbody. I saw a girl's transformation pictures, and I wrote her and asked, how did you do it? And she talked to me like a person and not like a sale. And she talked to me about what were my goals, and why did it matter to do it now versus 5 years from now, and what was really going to keep me going, and what was I afraid of. And for days, hours, weeks, we talked, and she really helped me to dig up the fears that were holding me back from really taking care of myself, loving myself, forgiving myself. And it wasn't just about a weight or a size or a sale for her. Like, it was about this person who had so been beaten by life and just torn down, and she just poured into me and refused to let me get swallowed up in darkness again. And I was very open with her and told her everything I was struggling with, and she just became such a dear friend. And through the programs that I started using, and the exercising, and the eating well, and the community that not only she gave me, but her team gave me, I mean, that whole package just reached into the depths of my utter despair and being done with life, and picked me up. And I really feel like God used this vehicle to breathe life into me again, to go from the place of plotting my own death and it just being a matter of like having the energy to go get the supplies to kill myself, to believing, knowing I have a purpose, and that my daughter is blessed to have me as her mom, and I am blessed to be her mom, and to believe that there are people's stories that I am meant to influence, and paths that I am meant to change the course of. And it's just so exciting to get to pay that forward. And I just hope, like, if I can just be that for one person, if I can do what my coach did, if I can do that for one person, 10 people, 50 people, if I can step into their darkness and shed light and love and joy, and to help them take back everything that life tried to steal from them. Just like life tried to take my joy, my trust, my hope, my belief in love, my belief that I am lovable, my belief in my purpose, my belief in that I hear from God. Like, life tried to beat that out of me, and I am hell-bent on taking it back and taking more back. And I want to do that for as many people as I can. And so that's what my team is about. That's what my mission is. That's what my heart is. And So yeah, I hope that that makes some sense, and thank you for listening and not judging me and just receiving me as I am.